Hello, everyone. I am Zhao Chuang. Let's color the fight scene of Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus. We can first simply design the coloration for Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus. Generally speaking, for these animals that had no pigment found, we get accustomed to making their overall color somewhat darker, but with some patterns. These patterns are always low-key, not too fancy. In the past, we tended to design herbivorous animals to be greenish, while carnivorous animals to be more earthy, which is in line with our understanding of these animals. We can still restore them based on this rule for now. In the future, if there is fossil evidence that can infer a more accurate color, we will follow the scientific basis. We can design Yangchuanosaurus to have somewhat low-key patches on its body resembling those of giraffes, and these patches can be concentrated on the back as much as possible. The Chungkingosaurus can have similar patterns but with a greenish color. For the bony plates of Chungkingosaurus in this painting, we can use brown, a similar color to that of Yangchuanosaurus body. When coloring a painting, try not to use too many colors. For example, the brown color that appears on the Chungkingosaurus is similar to that of the Yangchuanosaurus. We try to use the same color so that the whole picture will be unified. Moreover, when drawing a dinosaur, we usually use a light color to illustrate its belly, and the dust rising from the ground can be described with a similar one. Now, let's color the fight scene of Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus. We first use light yellow to color the underside of the Chungkingosaurus body. Pay attention to the arms and legs. We can only color the soft parts, such as the front of the arms and the back of the legs, which are in the direction the joints bend. We can also adopt this color for the Yangchuanosaurus. First, draw the boundary between the body and back, then color them part by part. Start from the bottom of the tail, and then color the belly. Make the light yellow of the belly larger so that even if you use another color for the back later, you can overlap that color on top. Then, let's color the lower part of the neck and the softer area of the face, namely the anteorbital fenestra. All these parts can be colored with light yellow. The back of the eyes, the lower jaw, and the inside of the arms can all be colored with this light color. This light yellow can also be used to represent the dust. When coloring the dust, assume that the sun is shining from the left, and only draw the shadow of the dust on the lower right. Don't fill the entire dust, just color along the roots of each group. This can both show its volume and light transmission. The back of Yangchuanosaurus thighs and lower legs can also be colored. Then, let's use light brown to draw the upper area of Yangchuanosaurus body. The boundary between dark and light colors can be drawn with ease. We also draw them area by area. Its boundary can be drawn curved and casually. Don't draw them too straight. This will make them look more natural. Then, the back. Now, we come to its face. Let's start from the top of the head, and use the same method to draw wavy boundary lines on the blank areas. The keratinous parts, the areas above the eyes and nose, as well as the relatively hard large scales around the mouth, can be left white for now. This light brown can also be used to color the bony plates of Chungkingosaurus. Just fill each bony plate with this color. You can be a little more relaxed when filling them, as it doesn't matter if you leave some blank space. Leaving some blank space will sometimes make the picture look more breathable and comfortable. Then, we use a light green or light blackish green to fill in the blank parts of the Chungkingosaurus body. The head, and the front of this leg. We use light brown to color these 3 toes of Yangchuanosaurus that we forgot previously. Now, let's use a darker brown to color the patterns on Yangchuanosaurus body. First, draw a common circular pattern on the tail. Then, draw the contour of the pattern. When the pattern reaches the thigh, we can extend it along the dorsal side of the thigh. After finishing the contour, we can fill it in with color. Then, we still follow this discretion to draw the pattern on its back, but make it shorter and thicker. Next, let's draw smaller patterns in their gaps to make them look denser and more affluent. They can gradually become smaller and smaller. Also, on the periphery of the eyes and face, we can draw some dark brown patterns to enrich the details. The same brown can also color the spikes on its back. When coloring these spikes, we can also slightly leave some white space. Let's use dark brown to draw some shadings. We also shape the shadowed part of the bony plates on the other side of the Chungkingosaurus to represent the sense of space, with one row of bony plates facing the sun and the other row being blocked. Now, let's use this orange, a color slightly brighter than the body, to fill the keratinous structures of Yangchuanosaurus. Then, use light gray to color its lips. Use the same light gray to color the nails of the two dinosaurs. Next, we use flesh color to draw the inside of its mouth, tongue, gums, and muscles. Then, we can also use flesh color to embellish the dinosaur's skin, especially the softer areas, where it moves frequently to make it look richer in blood vessels. Now, draw the dinosaur's shadow with gray to give it more volume. Then, we use dark green to illustrate a camouflage-like pattern on the Chungkingosaurus. The general growth mode of its pattern can be similar to that of Yangchuanosaurus. Of course, this pattern can be smaller and thinner. Then, draw the ground with brown, but don't draw too much. Finally, use yellow to embellish the eyes of the two dinosaurs. In this way, we have finished coloring this fight scene of Yangchuanosaurus and Chungkingosaurus.